Today is April 5th, 2022. Today's upgrade about the Ukraine war will have three sections. One is the war update. Second one, we will talk about psychological and informational war. Over new video about also what does that relate to the Ukraine war. The third one we'll talk about the difficulty of go against the regional power, why it is difficult to win war remotely. So let's start it from the war update first. So on the Ukraine side, you can see I already removed all the Russian occupied area. Basically, in the last 24 hours, most of the Russian has withdrawn from the Ukraine in the top half of this map. So we heard that both Russian and the Ukraine side have announced the Russian has basically disappeared from the northern side of the Ukraine, except in Kharkiv region to the south. Russian still persist. Let's also go to the only update Russian gave today. The update is here. So basically, the only new town occupied by Russia is Novohebutia, this particular city, small city in here. So yesterday they announced they occupied most of it, but now they are announcing they have total control. So from this, we can see very clearly that Russia is targeting this hub, like a highway hub, because once they occupy here, you can see both sides spend a lot of military resource to fight the Irum, right? The Irum is the northern side of the hub. For this area, the southern side of the hub is this one. So this one is even more important than Irum. We can see both of them will put a lot of resources to fight for this particular position. So that's the only update from the Russian side. From the Ukraine side, as I said, we basically updated the map on the top. But let's also go to our favorite, the Mariupol part. I already removed the two Ukraine-controlled area on the bottom side of this Mariupol. So right now, we only keep the space on the second steel factory at the Mariupol. So for the second steel factory, the fighting is still continued very hot. Let's see the heat map. So this is a heat map in the last 24 hours. Last 24 hours, there was one fight near the. There is an office building surrounded by residential building. So there are some Ukraine soldiers in there, and the fighting is going on in the last 12 to 24 hours. So other places are relatively quiet. I really don't understand whether, not very sure whether the second fight in this second factory has finished or not. But there are some news that saying there is one video saying 267 Marine of Ukraine Navy from 503 separate battalions surrender. If this one just happened today, so if this one surrender, maybe there is a possibility that the war in the second factory may be over, or maybe over partially. So we are not very sure in this part. But from the map, the map may not necessarily be accurate, because if they only shoot a gun, they will not show the heat map. So we are still not very sure where the fight around this area has finished. But that certainly the big group of this surrender seem to be very big. So that may indicate that the war may finish in the second factory, but we're not very sure. But certainly this particular battalion is stationed in Mariupol, is one part of the Azov organization. So this may be something indicate the process of the war. That's the first thing. Second thing, let's compare our current heat map to our last heat map. This is satellite map of about 4 days ago. But the satellite map usually come out once every week, so we won't be able to get another new heat map within next 4 days. So, but the other heat map, this one, is very accurate. Like up to like 6 hours ago, we can see the difference. So from this heat map, when we compare to this one, we can clearly see that this part of the seaport area of the fight almost finished, right? There is only 2 dots in one area in there. So this has been cleared. And the downtown here also finished. I saw several videos saying this part of the fight has finished. The video shooted with no background gunshot. So this one is finished. Also, the airport gunfight also finished. So the only thing left over is the second steel factory. So the last time we can see there are lots of fighting data, right? So very widespread in here and here. So, but in the most recent one, we see there are less in smaller area and also less in small area. So plus that almost 300 soldiers surrender may indicate the second war is close to finish, right? If it's not finished, maybe the fighter will not surrender. That's my perception, but I need a confirmation. So right now we still keep the Ukraine controlled area on the map. So we don't know what's going on in here. So another second thing I'm talking about is this. What I found out is that it's really difficult to find any realistic or truthful news in this war. Both sides give wrong information or misleading information. No more than 50% of either side is true. And this is also like what I heard from my sister. Let's also, for this reason, let's also switch to talk about there are psychological warfare in this particular instance. For this, actually, I found a very interesting video come out just a few days ago. This British journalist have a comprehensive report about the Falkland War, the 1982, British fought with Argentina over the Falkland Island, right? On the war, the British start important psychological information warfare. Probably the British journalist published this video is probably imply current Ukraine war has very similar background. So if you are interested in detail, you can watch this video. It's very interesting. Basically talk about British military working with some spy and some soldier working with the spy set up like a propaganda war through the radio during the Falkland War. So that one has many similarities with what we are going on right now. So it is actually one of the reasons I started this video is because I found out myself very difficult to find any information I got is realistic. Most information are pretty much fake from both sides. Let's go through the detail of our discussion. What I said may not be true, but I give you some resources so that we can both discuss, and you can put your comment below. We can discuss over it. So basically, this information warfare is very strange. Is that it's really hard for anyone to find any information to be trustworthy. Let's give two examples. One is that the West said there are huge house damage because of the Russian, right? So the Russian are saying, Russia actually tried to go to Mariupol and talk to the civilian. The Russian journalists talked to civilian in Mariupol, and the civilian are pointing the finger towards a roof using civilian apartment building as a defense. So basically what the Russians say, because the Aru soldier is in the building, we want to control that building, right? We want to kill the Aru. We have to fight them through the civilian building. If they go to outside, we will not bomb the building, right? If so from this you can see both sides has reason. So who has more reason, right? So that's a question for you. Let's go to the second example, is that for the evacuation, the West and the Ukraine, both sides, Russian is blocking the evacuation, right? Everybody sees that. I think most people believe so. Russian and plus some civilians say Aru prevent them from leaving. So who should we believe? This is a good problem for us, right? But I don't know the answer for the first one, but I know the answer for the second one. The second one, for the evacuation, is good for the Russian, right? Because the fight, if the civilian left the fighting area, there will be nice civilian casualty, right? The Russian that will benefit the Russian. So I don't believe Russian, or maybe some people will that, but it's very likely that Russian will not blocking the humanitarian evacuation, right? So that's but I think 99% of population will believe Russian block the evacuation. Anyway, that's just to give you two examples. Further proof, right now we are have a very serious psychological and information war going on right now. So right now the West seems to be in advance because the West control most of the media, right? The West is more powerful in propaganda, in terms of information warfare. The Russian, nobody, like there's hardly any media seem to be set with Russian, right? This is a one-sided story. Another side is that as an American citizen, I'm strongly against the war. I don't agree. I basically against any war, especially against you spend so much money and the resource and the life, soldier's life and the civilian life for a war which just get worse than you get in, right? For example, the U.S. fight the Korea War, Vietnam War, Afghanistan War. It's all around China, but two of them feel one of them equal, right? Korea is kind of equal, let's say. For the fight around like a CIA religion or Iran, like Iraq, Syria, Libya, all get worse, right? We spend so much U.S. dollar and like a military soldier life and also civilian life, but it just get worse. Now what happened is that the Ukraine, like in the last few years, Ukraine, Belarus, and Kazakhstan, just last month, there is an anti-government arrest. The Russian was saying this is instigated by the West, but for whatever reason, I don't like this kind of behavior, because what happens is that it's very unlikely the U.S. can succeed if you go around a big country or big regional power. The reason that if you go around China, China will directly, indirectly support they don't allow like a big power around China, right? They will fight back indirectly and directly. So the U.S. soldier will suffer a lot, right? Will spend a lot of money, will not be able to successful. This is one thing. Another one is that you go to Iran, Iraq, and Libya, it's just the local population also suffer a lot, right? And also, like the U.S. really spend too much money on that, right? It's too much money and too many like a soldier. There are no direct U.S. Like a soldier involved in Ukraine, Belarus, and Kazakhstan, but if you listen to like a Chicago professor John Mosmier, like the video I recommend to you last few times, you notice that these probably are some like for the Ukraine, U.S. is spending. I heard the news. U.S. spending like a $13.6 billion to aid Ukraine. If this one plus the earlier approved one, there would be about 15 to 16 billion dollar. So this is almost like a physical war, right? And the U.S. spend big money to do the war. I think what I'm saying is that if you go around Russia or China, you go around Iran, Iran, for example, they support a NATO insurgent in the Iraq and Syria, right? They will kill U.S. soldier. If you go to same thing, you go to around Russia and China, right? So let's go to the map. So what I mean is that if you go around the big regional power, they are like the Korea, the Vietnam, the Afghanistan, they are very close to China, right? They are very close to China, so it's very easy for China to assist the local insurgent to go against the American interest, right? And similarly, for the Iran, if like Iran support the Like the Vietnam is here, South Korea is here, like Afghanistan is here, right? So Afghanistan is also next to Iran, Iraq, Syria. So if these are the Iran interests, right? So if you go around the regional part, the Iran can support the insurgent in Iraq and Syria, kill many U.S. soldiers, right? So this is one problem of trying to make some change around some against another regional power like China, Iran, or Russia, right? So Kazakhstan is here, Ukraine is here, Belarus is here, right? Belarus had anti-government unrest about 4 years ago. Kazakhstan is just 2 months ago. Ukraine is right now, right? So basically, the Russians think these are their territory. If you get into that, Russians certainly will try to fight back, right? So that's a problem. What I'm saying is that maybe Ukraine is going to be another Iraq. Just local poor people get worse, and also the U.S. didn't win anything, right? So that's my opinion. Maybe not very good, or maybe not very accurate, but it's just I'm just against any war. I think the U.S. should focus on building U.S. as a country. We should not be a global police, right? Should focus on inside. I agree with Trump. Oh, by the way, I think Trump is very likely to win the next election, and also the Republican Party also very likely to win the midterm election in November of this year. So this is some good news. And ironically is that once Trump gets into power, we will soon try to repair relationship with Russia. That's very ironic. Like right now we spend so much dollar to fight the Russian. Now, 3 years later, U.S. will try to spend the money to repair relationship with Russian. And eventually, once Trump will be in power, Trump will be more open to partner with Russia. It's almost certain. It's almost certain Trump will win. It's almost certain U.S. will partner with Russia after Trump win. So that's ironic of U.S. foreign policy. If you like the video, please subscribe and hit like button. Thanks, bye.